I grew up in California, and I left the state just around the time of Prop 13. And my neighborhood library was something very precious to me from the time I was old enough to get a library card. And my neighborhood back home, none of the neighborhoods have had branch libraries since that time. What was cut was never reopened. We only have a central library in that town, and it's very nice, but it's very far away from many of the neighborhoods. So I have concern, particularly in a city with only one library, about what kind of cuts we might be talking about in those over and above services. I understand that all belts must be tightened in a difficult economy, but here is my question that I was trying to, just get some more specifics here. And this is for each of you, do you think we will need to cut library and museum budget? And if so, what do you think you would propose cutting? Hours, staff, or programs? And in very, very tight circumstances, would you ever support closing either facility for a period of time?
I might as well jump in. We can't know whether or not we are going to have an absolute crisis with our budget. And if we do, maybe something has to get cut out of one or both of those. Right now, it does not look like we would need to. And one of the wonderful things about Littleton is the tremendous amount of volunteering that goes on. The museum, I think, has about the equivalent of one employee in volunteer work. And the library, I think, is maybe 1.75, I'm not sure. But together, maybe they're close to 3 equivalent full-time positions in volunteer work. I would think if we got into a real crisis mode, that we might want to be asking for more volunteers, in part because if we got in a real crisis mode, some more people are going to be out of jobs and they're going to want to be doing something just to stay sane. But I'm hoping that that's not anywhere in our lifetimes that we would have to do that. So I do not want to see us have to cut back. If we did something, and actually I wish we could do this, and the museum director and nobody else in the museum, nor Bruce, has heard me say this, I'd like to see us raise the cost of the summer, what do you call them, the historic, for the kids, what do you call those? The camps. Camp?
Okay.
Yeah, whatever, what they'll call camp. 2 years ago, when, after I got elected and Tim Mims gave me a tour around the museum, I asked him about the cost of those camps, and he said that they're significantly less expensive than day camps in the whole metro area. So if we needed to or could to raise the fee, tuition, whatever we call it, then we might also be able to offer some scholarships for the disadvantaged people. But I think we need to be charging fair for that, and that would help us more with the expense of the museum. We have an incredible museum. I'm not wanting us to cut that, but I can't say it would never happen in a million years, because heaven help us if we encountered something like the Great Depression big time, double time. So the safety and welfare through the police and fire and basic services has to be there. So now don't go out and quote me out of context and say Peggy wants to close the library and museum. I don't. Well, I'm just telling everybody, that. And the council did not at all even touch on that as a remote possibility during our 3 sessions last week. So, anyway, somebody